Assalamualaikum. Dear learners and viewers, I am Rafiqul Islam, lecturer in English, Government Shamsullah College. Welcoming you all to my online class organized by Government Shamsullah College. I hope you are all fine by the grace of Almighty Allah and enjoying the online classes with topmost priority and rapt attention. Today, on first paper of English of class 11 and 12, a class will be held. Unit 12 portrays the unexpected condition of water resources of our country. The caption of this unit is Environment and Nature. First lesson is about water. The caption of lesson 1 is Water, Water Everywhere. The caption has been taken from a story of famous English writer Samuel Taylor Coleridge, The Ancient Mariner. The Ancient Mariner is a story in which the mariner, because of a curse, fell in a situation where he cried for water. But although he was in a sea, water was everywhere around him, but there was not a drop of water to drink. Environment means air, water and land, and air, water and land cover human, animals and plants. That is why air, water, land, human, animals and plants, these are all 6 elements of this environment. We all know environment is all around us. We are in an environment. This environment is made up of all these 6 elements. If one element is affected, all the other elements of the environment get automatically affected, because all these things hang together. They are interrelated. Although humans are the only one element of the environment, it is the responsibility of the human beings to save all the elements of the environment. To live in a healthy and pleasant society, we must keep our environment safe and sound. Otherwise, our life will automatically be endangered. Here, one element of the environment, that means water, has got priority. Why it has got priority? Not for nothing. Not for nothing water has got priority here. Because we all know that 2/3 of our body is made up of water. That is why it is clearly said and intelligently said that the other name of water is life. Without water, it is not possible for us to survive. To drink clean, pure water is a must. Without water, we cannot survive. That is why it is a must. But although the country living here is called a land of rivers, but are the rivers of our country in good shape? No, they are not. This lesson actually portrays the very unexpected conditions of water of our country. We have many rivers, we have plenty of rainfalls, but still we are in a threat of pure drinking water, the Buriganga. Suppose you can name a river, suppose Buriganga. This Buriganga has a glorious history. This Buriganga has a glorious story. In 1610, the Mughals founded their capitals on the banks of this river, being marveled at the tide of this river. But today, what is observed here is very pitiable and painful conditions. We are steadily, gradually destroying this river. This river is experiencing the pangs of death. Not only for this river, the situation is said to be the common, same for all the other rivers of our country. Some rivers are dying and some rivers are suffering the pangs of death. This lesson has presented before us with some examples and correct explanation, providing some data and other sources, a very intact and complete picture of the river sources of our country. The river is getting polluted day by day. Every year, huge amount of toxic waste are dumped into this river. That is why the water of this river has got changed. The color has changed and the water has got an odor with stains. The odor of the water has become offensively unpleasant, and this odor has spread all the air around this river, and the river has given us a lot for the spread and prosperity of our capital, Dhaka. But the capital is sucking all the bounty of it. They are paying the payment of it by sucking out of it life. Unit 12, lesson 1 is very important for focusing on a very particular and exact topic of our day-to-day problems. This problem is applicable not only for our country but also for all the countries of the world. Dhaka is the capital city of our country, and here once the people are able to get ample fishes from this river. A variety of fishes were collected from this river. Our trade and commerce were greatly dependent on this river. This river, you all know, was once a tributary of the mighty Ganges, and this river also flowed into a branch through Dholeshwari. But after some years, this river got separated from Ganges and take the name of Buriganga. And today you will be surprised to know that 4,500 tons of solid chemicals, different kinds of waste and filth are dumped into this river every day. Not only that, 20,000 tons of tannery waste. 20,000 tons of tannery waste have been released into this river everywhere. That is why this river is paying the bounty of its glorious past by sacrificing its life. We all know here the 9 names of the industrial areas that can be held responsible for this painful condition of this river are Tungi, Tezgao, Tarabo, Hazaribagh, Narayanganj, Dhaka Export Processing Zone, Shabhar, Ghorashal, Gazipur. These are the areas that are mainly responsible for this pitiable condition of this river. Now, okay, dear students, we will look back on our textbook. You can find it. Please open page 156. Here you will certainly get a picture from this textbook. The picture is certainly about the ancient mariner that I have already mentioned before you, and here is also a picture that tells us about the present conditions of the river Buriganga. And from this story, from this lesson, I would like to give some words for your betterment so that you can easily understand this poem. First of all, the words that should be noted here: harrowing, harrowing means painful. Next comes tributary. Branch of a river that flows into a stream. Trade and commerce, in short, you can take it as business. Polluted, contaminated. Tannery, tannery means a place where animal skins are tanned and made into leather. There are some other words also, you should keep it in mind. Unfortunately, by bad luck, You should note them down into your exercise books if you want to get them implanted in your minds. Culture, a very common word. What does culture mean? Culture means advanced. Advanced and organized state of a society. Culture means advanced and organized state of a society. These are actually the common words, and they may seem to you new words. That is why I have written them the blackboard. Suck, another new word is suck, as you seek. Suck means pulling in some liquid. Pulling in some liquid. Chronic. Another important word is chronic. Lasting. Chronic, lasting. You can also use continuing here. Continuing and lasting. These are actually the words that have been used as new words. Well, dear students, now I will try to look back at the textbooks. First, I will try to read out the lessons. If you read out these lessons, you will certainly have a good idea over this passage, and the questions that are related to it will quite be easier for you to answer. At first, very first part of these lessons have been quoted from a famous story, as I have already said to you, of Samuel Taylor Coleridge's poem The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Water, water everywhere, and all the boats did sink. Water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. Actually, these lines present before us the pitiable, painful conditions of the ancient mariner, because he was cursed. He was cursed and he was victim of circumstances, and that is why he was in a situation that taught him the importance of water in his life. The next part goes with this, like this. Coleridge's poem, A Ballad, narrates the harrowing sea voyage of an old mariner who at one point of the journey didn't have any water to drink because of a curse. Dear students, please try to take this book in your hand and try to follow me. If you follow me and read with me, this lesson will be quite easier for you. Cursed or not, we know how important drinking water is in our life. We know we cannot survive without it. In fact, 2/3 of our body is made up of water. Not for nothing is it said that the other name of water is life. Is there a crisis in our time with regard to access to clean drinking water? The United Nations, in a meeting on the eve of the new millennium, identified the drinking water problem as one of the challenges for the future. But do we need to worry about the problem, as ours is the land of rivers and we have plenty of rainfall? Besides, we have a sea in our backyard too. One of the sources of water in our country is the rivers. Rivers are everywhere in our life, literature, economy and culture. But are the rivers in good shape? Unfortunately, they are not. A few are already dead and several are going through the pangs of death. The river Buriganga is an example of a dying river. A report published in the Daily Sun describes what has happened to the river Buriganga and why. Its water is polluted and a perpetual stench fills the air around it, but that is not what it was like before. The report says that the river had a glorious past once it was a tributary of the mighty Ganges and flowed into the Bay of Bengal through the river Dhaleshwari. Gradually, it lost its link with the Ganges and got the name Buriganga. The Mughals were marveled at the tide level of the Buriganga and founded their capital Jahangirnagar on its bank in 1610. The river supplied drinking water and supported trade and commerce. Jahangirnagar was renamed Dhaka, which grew into a heavily populated city with a chronic shortage of space. The city paid back the bounty of the river by sucking life out of it. According to newspaper report, the Buriganga is dying because of pollution. Huge quantities of toxic chemicals and wastes from mills and factories, hospitals and clinics and households and other establishments are dumped into the river every day. The city of Dhaka discharges about 4,500 tons of solid waste every day, and most of it is directly released into the Buriganga. According to the Department of the Environment, 20,000 tons of tannery waste, including some highly toxic materials, are released into the river every day. Experts identified 9 industrial areas in and around the capital city as the primary sources of river pollution: Tungi, Tezgah, Hazaribagh, Tarabo, Narayanganj, Sabar, Gazipur, Dhaka Export Processing Zone and Khorassan. The river would need a monstrous stomach to digest all the wastes mentioned above. There is a limit up to which it can put up with its cruel and thoughtless treatment. We the humans have successfully killed one of our rivers. There are other rivers in the country that are being subjected to similar thoughtless treatment. Unless we take care of our rivers, there may come a time when we will cry water, water and find it nowhere. Dear students, you have already heard the lesson of Unit 12. Very fast lesson. This lesson certainly presents before us the horrifying conditions of our water. Water is the most important ingredient of our life, but this water is undergoing a great change over time. Now, the question is, over this passage, you will certainly know that in first paper, we have 3 types of different passages. From the different passages, you will have to answer different types of questions, and from these 3 different passages, 35 marks will be allowed. And from the first passage, you all know there are 15 marks. From the second passage, you have 10 marks. From the third passage, the rest 10 marks. From the second passage, if this text is selected, then from the second passage, you all know that you will have to write down a flow chart. The flow chart demands certain rules, and according to the rules, you should answer the questions. I hope after reading this lesson, you will be able to have a good and compact idea of the situation of the water of our country, and then to answer all types of questions will be easier for you. Thank you for joining. I hope you will pass your time keeping yourself safe and all the other of the society safe. Thank you for joining.